Rich. How you doing?
Good. How are you, Dennis?
I'm doing good.
Watch out. Get out of my way there, guys.
Sit in the easy chair.
I'd like to welcome everyone tonight to the meeting. Try that again. I'd like to welcome everyone to the meeting tonight. Thank you for coming. I'd like to introduce our host for the evening, Bob Crabb and his assistant back here. Thank you, Bob, for having us. I'll let you take over.
Thanks everybody for coming, I guess. I don't really have anything special, as you can see. I just said I have known the old one-room schoolhouse here, the boarders' schoolhouse. I did put on the table some papers that talk about the one-room schoolhouses in Washington Township. On the back page, there's actually a map that shows them. If they're familiar with them, Washington Township had 9 one-room schoolhouses. The pages preceding that, there just tells a little bit the ones that are standing or the ones that are gone. So it's just a little bit of what's going on. 2 schoolhouses are gone. One was tore down many years ago, and the last one was tore down here for the AutoZone building. So we still have 7 of them. 3 of them are used as homes, and the other 2 other ones have been altered. This one and the Rakers Mill are the only 2 that are in the actual outside dimensions of the original schoolhouses. The Rakers Mill School was actually used for a house for a while. I forget, somebody told me one time who lived there for a couple of years till they built a house. So they actually lived in that. They actually lived. Yeah. Up there, oh back here, somebody lived in the schoolhouse and then they built a house. Yeah, I know somebody lived in it. But that just gives you a little history of it as far as the schools and what they were. The Washington Township school system was in effect until 1955 when they merged with all the other boroughs. At the time, this school I think was the 1 to 6, and then in 6th grade, if you want further your education, you could choose to go on to high school, like in Elizabethville, or I think some even went to Perrysburg to finish your education. This school, it's been used, a couple different people owned it. It wasn't in our family the whole time since it stopped being used. So we got it the way it is. I've been trying to fix it up and just keep it so it stays in place. And then I had some health issues, like you all are aware. When you have those, things stop for a while. So hopefully we'll get back on track and get some more stuff done to it. I'd like to be able to keep it so it's here for the future, for some future generations to see. We currently use it for our family. We have our family events in here. We have Thanksgivings. We have birthday parties, things like that in here. We do have a New Year's party where that little red crab up on the table there, we dropped him with the rope, so we have crab for New Year's. So we have activities in here. It's been a good space for us. Also, my family, anybody knows my family, we all tend to like old stuff for some reason. Everybody's got stuff everywhere. I don't know how big a building it would take to actually display all the stuff we have. But in here I have a lot. I tried to keep some things as far as the old, you see up there, just, I like the odd stuff. That sign up there, that is actually a clearance sign from the Mattis Mill covered bridge that got washed away in the flood. That was from there. I also have the one from the Henninger Bridge that has the corner burnt from when they lit it on fire. So I have those. My little corner over here, they call that my corner. That's my music corner. Of course, I try to keep everything in my period anyhow. I got a Zenith wedge, which if you're familiar with them, they're from the 70s. I also have, it has 45s, you can play 8 tracks. So it's a modern piece. So yeah, it does a little bit of everything. A lot of 45s. We'll have some nights we come in here, especially with the young kids. We have fun. We have 45 night. We'll play 45 records a dance. So it's just a fun night for the kids. Get them into some of the older songs and things like that. Some of the odd stuff. Just kind of take you on a little tour around the ring, and of course I got one of the Star of the Valley things from MI. That's theirs. Got that. If you guys have any questions you want to talk about anything, just feel free to ask. Here's one I just picked up, what we're going to start having. I got a little, that's an old bingo machine. So it's a tabletop bingo. So we're going to have some bingo nights in here with the kids. So it's just the odd stuff. This is probably one of the neatest ones I got. This is from Kiss's Diner down in Eville. It's mid-50s to the late 50s it was used. Thank goodness, I think we figured out John Hentz. John Hentz bought it from Kisses when they got a new one, when they updated it. And it was good enough that he gave it to one of his nephews. One of his nephews said he wants it to stay in the valley, so it ended up here. So, very good to do. The only thing I was hoping for, it does take quarters to play, and I was hoping I'd get Dennis to give me quarters. But since he did offer, I'll put one in it just to show you that the thing does indeed work. Everything functions on it.
Sounds beautiful.
Plays 78 records. So there's the songs in here aren't what's in it, or not what's in it. The songs that are in here were actually the last songs that were on it at Kisses. Hence didn't take them out, and I didn't take them out. So the songs don't match what's on there, but it's still there. I like getting little stuff, thermometers, calendars, just from different local businesses. You'll see them all around. This here was kind of a neat one. I just got this, and again, this came from the same gentleman, from the Henses. John had bought it. Now you say, okay, it's just a Seaberg speaker. This is a Seaberg speaker from Trotter's restaurant, the likeness. This is the one that hang up on the front wall when you walked in Trotter's, you looked at this. So, I like getting the odd stuff, I told you. I mean, who wants a speaker? I do. Oh. Yeah, up the wall above you, that's that also came from Ikens' original dance hall.
Oh.
In the ballroom.
Oh.
That is an actual plaster and real mirrors, and it's heavy, heavy, heavy. That is not a plastic one. So, yeah. In the case here, when we get up and walk around, I think it'd probably be the better. I just wanted to give you an oversight of what it is. We're used to walk around and gladly show you stuff. The case, there's just all kinds of things in there from local businesses. Again, a lot of odd stuff, different things. Yeah, we got a lot of stuff. I got quite a few items came from Richard Clanger Sr. I don't know if anybody ever had the luxury going up there. Rich had a room that he called the meeting room up there, probably 3 times bigger than this. And he'd actually decorate it for seasons. Like he'd put certain items in the room. 3 months later, he'd change all those items. So he had piles and piles of stuff up there and they had said. And it was some really nice stuff. And of course, I went to school with Richie, his boy, so Richie called me and said, Bob, we better get up there. So we went up and were rooting through stuff, and I actually ended up, it's kind of funny, I picked a lot of stuff out of the dumpster that they were throwing away. I found 1953 Gratz Fair passes, things like that, that everybody just says it's jumping pitches, but I like that kind of stuff to keep it.
Bob,
Yeah.
question. What does the 3 feet deep mean?
What?
That song,
3 feet deep.
3 feet deep, was it her
On the
what?
windowsill, over there.
Those
Oh,
tiles.
God, I forgot that. I have two things over there that are kind of, again, oddball. 3 feet deep, that's from the Eville swimming pool.
Oh, is it?
I took a picture of them. I took a picture of it while they were tearing it down, and then they popped those loose, and I got them. So that's from the Eville swimming pool. The couple boards behind, you can't see it right behind that peak. Dennis might recognize those. Yeah. That's from the '92 prom when they had the water fountain in the gym and it blew and popped the whole floor apart. We had a huge floor in. So,
For $25,000.
I know he voted for it to put a new floor in, so. So yeah, I said I got a lot of little odd things that, I don't know, I just like them. The clock on the wall, I don't know if anybody recognizes that. Those were the clocks that were in the Eville High School. That was the only one that was left in there. It used to be a mechanical system, and I actually went and put a motor in it so I could use it. But that is the clock from the Eville school.
It looks like it.
Yeah, everything in. If anybody remembers Eville school, all the woodwork in there was done like that.
Yeah.
All the original woodwork.
It looks like it.
Yeah.
Did
Yeah.
they have those bottles when school was here?
That depends what night it is. Knowledge now. So yeah.
What about the desk?
This
What about
the
the desk?
desks were from the school, and it's just we kept a couple. This place was sold, like I said, 1955. Like the Township sold all the schools, and they basically gutted them as they sold. They sold all the desks out, all that blackboards. A lot of that stuff was sold, so that's why none of that's available. Those that might remember, this was the blackboard wall along this wall. Because we were over here all the time, I got creative and put a mini bathroom in. I actually forgot to start off that way. There's some popcorn here, there's refreshments, there's water, there's soda there, there's cooler for you. Please enjoy it. I do have a restroom here if you need that. But I did build this little restroom. We got the desk up there, some books, school books sitting on them. Again, just a thing kind of to show a little. This was one of the signs from Rich Clayer's, what was the minstrel shows that they did. So it's all the writing from the 70s like they used to write it all, which I thought was kind of neat. And then when I built the bathroom, just something to look for later, I actually, this door is from the Eiler, what is that? Spakeman Eiler. The garage that was in Likens. There was an old garage up there, and that was their door to their office. So I had bought that actually up there at Claire's. Used that. When you get over here, you look in the bathroom, you'll see my interesting lights. They're the stage lights from the Likens High School. So when you're in there, you can do a performance, whatever you wish. However you want to be. So I just do little quirky things like that that I think are kind of fun sometimes. Oh yeah, our towel holder is actually the handle from the original outhouses here. It's all that's left.
Oh.
It's just a little piece of rotten wood with the handle on it. We varnished it so it wouldn't get any work, but that's our towel holder. So you'll just see a lot of dumb little things like that. When you look at it, you might think, oh, that's dumb. My ass will tell you what it is, because it probably has a connection somewhere. Which one? Well, that one, the green one, my grandma always told me that. So that's been up there. Yesterday is history, tomorrow's a mystery, today's a gift from God. That's why they call it President. Yeah, my grandma used to say that. Claire piano, that came from Claire's. Probably one of the best Halloween parties I think we had in here. The power went out. And we had 50 little kids, plus adults, and we probably had 60, 70 people running around.
Halloween it snowed.
Yeah. And the power went out. Yep. And the power was out, so We put oil lamps, and we normally have more tables in there. We put oil lamps on the tables, and we played the player piano, and the kids sang.
And
And that was,
most of them that came
yeah.
had electricity.
What?
Where they lived, they had electricity. It was how it
Oh,
was
yeah.
here.
Yeah, we were out, they left home, they had electric, so they thought we were having a party, they got here and we were dark. So we sang, we had a great night that night. Kids enjoyed it, played games, and sang on the piano. So we do a lot of that. Going around, the shelves there, you'll find a lot of stuff. I do have quite a few of the Upper Dauphin yearbooks from the early all the way up through. I have a few other schools, but I have one from Gratz, I have some Likens, I have some Perrysburg yearbooks. They're also quite popular with the kids. Huh? No, yeah, before David did that. But the books are very popular with the young kids. They love coming in here looking for mom, dad, grandpa, grandma, uncle. Yeah, so they go through them pretty good, and it's kind of funny. It's old technology, new technology. There lays the book, and they're there with their cameras, sending pictures. So it's kind of funny when they're in here to watch them because they really go. The shelves just got a lot of odd stuff again, like same as in the cabinet, which I said we can get up and walk around and finally talk about things. But cameras, we look at those cameras, you say, okay, they're cameras. I can't tell you how many kids come in here and say, what are those? They do, and so it's kind of neat to have that kind of stuff. The green signs up on top, if you see the planter, fishing center, wood lake, those are from the Likens School. That was in the shop. They were hanging at each one of those machines. That's how you ran the machine. There was a picture of it and told you where everything was. George Freeman and I talked to him one time. He said, I told him I had them. He said, Bobby, I always wondered where they got to. I said, well, they sold them and I got them. So I had them. Of course, a couple old mailboxes, lunch boxes. Like, again, things kids don't see today anymore. You know, they laugh. Probably one of the funniest ones I have is that sitting right below that Crabb's Ball is that little travel alarm clock. You get that out, I guarantee there's no kid knows what that is. What is that? I said you carried that with you when you traveled, so you had an alarm clock. So I like getting things like that that just kind of messes with the kids, I guess. You know, we have a couple bottles from Likens. We got some old games, all the yearbooks. I have some books from different towns over there. They're ledgers. I have Likens Burl, where you can read in there about Joe Smith was arrested on Main Street for drunkenness, and he was charged $2 to get out of jail. So you can read all that in there. I got a Likens Township ledger that's got some interesting stuff in it if you want to see their history. I just got, like I said, a lot of different little quirky things that you can look at that are pretty cool. Of course, the other one the kids, and I actually laugh when the kids play with over their side of Eddie, is the rotary phone. They utterly amazed at that rotary phone, that is a telephone. I said, yes, that is a telephone. So,
The paddle, you don't see a paddle in school anymore.
no, we have, some things just to keep memories for some of you guys. The paddle hanging on the wall for the school paddle. They're even hard to find. So, oh, the sewing machine is just an old sewing machine. I needed a stand for my TVs, and I thought, what a better thing to have than an antique sewing machine. So we put that there. Well, right up there. That came. School crossing sign. They're from Upper Dauphin, but I don't know where. No, those things have absolutely disappeared in today's world.
Was that
Nobody even admits they have them.
Was that Kitzmiller's?
I don't know who's that.
Oh, you recognize it?
Believe me, there was a couple of them I'd like to know where they are, but I can't find them.
They do work.
Oh yeah. And it's just like the one I always tell everybody, Mrs. Schlasky, who was our 7th grade teacher, that liked us. Me, Richie Clanger, Pee Wee Markle, we were all 3 little short guys, and she sat us all in a row, right in the front, and first day of school, she says, stand up, step over 1 step. She walked by and nailed every one of us with this paddle. And we all looked, and Richie Clanger says, what was that for? She says, that's for what you 3 are going to do today. And she did that regularly to us. She would just stand up, and let me tell you, that lady was big. She could swing that paddle. So, yeah, I wish I had that one. That one has some personal memories. So, you'll see a lot of the jars up there are from local people. That big brown one is actually a pesticide jar of all things, but it was from Williamstown. Yeah, I got Dr. Harold's, some medicine bottles from him. It's just a lot of little quirky things, I guess, from me growing up, but it's some good odd stuff. So that's really all I have to go around, I think. If you guys want to get up, walk around. Huh? What? Oh, yeah, I have a couple things hanging on the back here, and I have this is from the 1930s. That's a Lowell baseball team. We have a lot of different things on Lowell that we don't have displayed, unfortunately, but Lowell was a very vibrant little town at one time. It had all kinds of stuff. It had bands, it had many different groups that met up there. So there was a lot going on in Lowell at one time. And of course, I gotta have a Berrysburg buffalo coat. So Berrysburg is kind of an interesting school every time I find something. Then over the years, they changed their name and changed their mascot quite frequently. I don't know why or how, but they did. You'll learn things when you start finding that stuff, and of course I like seeing it. Lichens was kind of interesting. There are a lot of pennants in there. Lichens are all different colors. And then someone finally told me why they're all different colors. They made them the color of the class colors when they graduated. So you'll have gold and green and all different colors of pennants. So it was whatever the class was. Whereas whatever I remember up in Dauphin, we were only black and white or black, white, and orange.
Yeah.
But Lichens, when they were by themselves, they actually changed the colors all the
We
time.
have that class colors in Newville too.
Did they?
Yeah.
Okay.
The gold, the other was maroon, the
Yeah.
different years were different.
Yeah. So,
I see your crossing flag.
yeah.
I'm not from the area,
Okay.
so did you have like patrols?
In Eville.
I was
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, you had the
I remember
belt.
that the yellow raincoats they made us wear,
Yeah.
rain hats with rubber raincoats.
Flags out.
Yeah.
The first year we went back to the other school, the first year we went back there, we had to put our raincoats on and stuff and go carry our flags to go back to school back there. When you had the other school back at the factory.
Oh, back there.
Oh,
Yeah.
Was that the original Evil school? The one back?
I don't know that. That I don't know. Is it?
Classes back there.
Denny,
What?
Denny Royal.
What do you want to know?
who wants to know the original Eagle High
The
School?
original high school, school was down at the Broad Street Cemetery in the northeast corner. And then they built the school on Broad Street. And then they added on to the school on Broad Street. Well, and then they didn't have enough room when the first merger was. So grades 3, 4, and 5 were at Spruce Street. Shop class was in the bottom floor. Band practice was on the 3rd floor.
Well, the shop used to be up at Kepler's too.
That was long before my time.
Or,
Maybe in your time.
or,
Yeah.
When we did safety patrol, it was the 5th and 6th grade
demonstrators that walk
Yeah.
the kids and cross them at the streets, at the
Yeah.
squares. Like they do that nowadays.
I think we had only 6 graders, it was a large district. But along with that, did you go on the Washington trip for the patrols?
Didn't we go down to the circus?
Yeah, we
Yeah,
did.
but
They
that
took
was,
us to the circus,
that
didn't
was
they?
a class trip.
Oh, I thought it was just us,
Everybody got to go
the
to the
guards.
Shrine Circus. That's probably the last thing since you said, if you notice my signed picture from Mingo, from the Shrine Circus. So, if you watch Daniel Boone, you know Mingo, and he was at the Shrine Circus and signed those pictures.
Turn it towards,
So,
towards this.
Oh, I'm sorry.
again, it's just another little oddball thing, but it's kind of funny. So if you want to get up and walk around and look at stuff, I'm glad, me and my sisters, like I said, we all kind of guilty of dragging stuff here, and I'll gladly talk about anything.
Bob, how do you heat this in the wintertime?
Well, this here, of course, it used to have a furnace, which is gone. When I bought it, they actually had a coal stoker put down in here. They dug part of it out over here. Well, that thing was shot, and my aunt had a propane heater. So all we did was pull the grate up, drop a propane heater in there. So it's heated by propane,
Okay.
which is perfect for us because we can actually walk in, turn it on, turn it off, and walk out.
But this never had a basement, right?
No,
Just enough
none of
room
them
for a
had basements.
furnace.
The schools were built, and I talked with my mom and dad, and my dad doesn't remember anymore. One guy built all the schools in the township. The same guy built them all. That's why they're all identical. The only difference was this one had a plastic ceiling, while the others had tin ceilings. The special tin, huh? Yeah, and this one here had a plaster ceiling, but if you went to any other schools, the originals were those square tin panels. That's what was in them. Then when the guy was done building all the schools, they had a, I don't know how long it took them, but of course a lot of these were wooden schools originally. They got tore down, they could put up the brick ones. After they got done, then the township actually hired him as their maintenance man.
Oh,
And that was what he did the rest of his life, was take care of these till they got rid of the schools.
So what year was this one built?
I don't know. I've looked and tried to find that information, and I can't figure out the years of them when the wooden ones were. I found a lot of deeds from way early in the 1800s on some of them. But I can't pinpoint what the actual buildings were.
that school where AutoZone is,
Uh-huh.
that, if you remember, when they tore it down, it was a two-story.
Yeah, they built the
They
second
built the
story.
second, and Curly Whitman, when he bought that, it didn't have a basement in it like this, and he dug it out, him and
Yeah.
whoever, dug it out by hand.
Yeah.
They
Yeah, a
had a
lot of them
basement.
are, if you look at this school, the Stone Hill School, they never added on to that, but that's a house.
Yeah.
Then if you go up to Big Run, the
Yeah.
one on the left up on the hill, that they put an addition on, that's one of the schools. Yeah, they're all over, they're in there that you can see them, but the Whitmer School, I kind of scrounged a little bit. I actually went down to the Whitmer School and the guy was tearing it down. I said, you mind if I scrounge here on the weekends? He said, what do you want? I said, I want some of them brick, because there's a lot of the brick on the outside here are broke. So I got 2 skids of brick.
Oh.
So I'll have original bricks to put back in here. So, yeah, it was kind of funny. He said, what in the world do you want? I said, I want some of them bricks. So I got them, and I actually got another thing. I was hoping to get it home already, and I didn't get it yet. Of course, with this, the kids, my grandpap always told me that he was one of them. Kids who didn't want to be in school, they were the ones who had to go fetch the water, which was down here at the farm, the next farm down, which is the Phillips farm now. Right behind the farm, if you look, they still have the little spring house shed there. That's where they walk down to get water. That's where the water came from, and of course they just have a pile of coal outside. They have to bring the coal and keep the furnace going. So Pap said they were the ones that didn't want to be here. Those are the kids that they gave those jobs to. So they got to do that stuff.
Did this building still have a oiled floor?
A lot.
Oiled floor,
Oil.
oiled. that dump oil on it in the summertime when the kids were out of school.
Yeah, I don't know, I don't see any signs of that from what I looked at, and been working on, I don't see where it was so.
Come back to school in the fall, and you get down on the floor to play in that, you'd end up with greasy pants.
Yeah. Oil was pretty useful back in the day. Somebody else asked me that, and just being on the farm, I said, we had oil everywhere because there was nowhere to recycle it, nowhere to get rid of it, so you found uses for it. Manure spreaders, the floors, it saved them forever. You could let your manure spreader sit outside,
Yep.
and it never rotted, because it was soaked that full of oil. Hills, things like that, they dump it on to keep the dirt from
The roads.
Yeah. So it used to be everywhere.
You know, my mother taught school in this building, and she also had to tend the fires. So in the winter, when it was cold, she'd come here on Sunday and get the fire going, and get the building warmed up, and then bake it, and then she'd come in, the kids would come in Monday, if the chill was off, then she could burn it up real quick and get the place warm. So she had to carry the coal and tend the fire too, and
Yeah.
my mom.
These buildings are, of course,
No, Emma Rowdy Bush.
Jim.
I met you at church.
everybody connecting the dots.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I brought a picture of the class picture that my mother had, yes. You might be on it.
Could be, I'll have to
There he has it.
Yeah, she brought it.
I'll have to look.
That's our mother
Yeah.
teacher.
What year did you say this picture was?
March 1st, 1955.
65.
That's the first picture I've seen of the inside of this building, so it's kind of neat to see.
And the ceiling is a tin ceiling, I think.
No, it's wallpaper.
Is that what it?
No, I don't think so.
Or you don't think?
No.
That might be. Well, this one's been plastered. It actually looks like those little squares.
Yeah.
There's an interesting thing. We actually got the original lights in here.
Uh-huh.
How about that?
I said you two look exactly alike.
You think so? Oh, yeah. Good God.
Oh, my word.
Oh, boy.
The other thing it's had, of course, with no plumbing or anything, it had outhouses. Those disappeared long ago. They just rotted apart over time, like I said, except for the one piece that my dad, of all people, he had it. When we started fixing this up, my dad said, I got a towel holder. I said, what is that? He said, that is a handle from the last outhouse. So if you think we keep weird stuff, the Crabb family, we do. So he had that. The one good thing I did get, though, or I'm gonna get, and is the Rakers Middle School back there actually has an outhouse back there yet.
Oh.
It's in the trees.
Oh.
And J.D. Zuck said I could have the outhouse. So I'm getting the outhouse to put back out here. And it's the classic two-seater, a high seat, a low seat for older kids and young kids. So I'm gonna have an outhouse out here again. So,
It's not a two-story, is it?
no, it's not a two-seater. It's just a two-seater. Just a two-seater. So that'll be kind of different, unique.
Just one question. How many here went to a one-room schoolhouse? Oh, wow. Okay.
See, my dad and his brother went here.
Uh-huh.
And
Brother-in-law.
my brother-in-law and my step-grandpa actually went here too. So a lot of them went here.
Bob, the name Boyer, that was some of your relation, that's how this.
Boyer owned the farm. You'll find that in all the schools, all the names was the person who sold the land for the original school.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And in most cases, they gave them the land originally when it was the wooden school. So if you look at the names, if you go back to what the farm was and who owned the farm, and And I actually have, like I said, I pulled a lot of the deeds on the places back from the 1800s. And you can go back and find the name who gave the land. And that's what they named the schools.
Well, the coal they brought in here was all mine run. Like this
The
stuff.
big pump stuff.
Yeah, I remember that, it took 2 or 3 buckets to put it on the fire.
Yeah, I wish I had the furniture up there.
It was real big. This is in here,
You remember that burner
board.
over there in that corner?
Are there any more questions?
That's around it, yeah.
Are there any more questions? I have a 5-minute business meeting. You wanna turn it off?
Is that what it's called, mine run?
You finished?
Yeah, I think that's
Good job, Bob, thank you.
Sure, if you want to, yeah.